Good morning, Althea. Number one, thank you for having me back. Number two, if you didn't bring your seatbelt today, well, hold on anyway. Because I believe we are at the vista, the precipice of something absolutely amazing in this world, on this planet. But before we get there, I want to say thank you to Rick for the beautiful prayer, sir. And I want to say thank you to our beautiful singer, and I've just forgotten your name, I'm sorry. Carol, that's right, Carol Hen. I had a vision. You ready? I had a vision while I was listening to Carol sing that song. Because that is the Black National Anthem, or commonly known by that vernacular. And if you didn't watch the Super Bowl last week, you'll know that there maybe you know, maybe you don't, there's a little bit of controversy that song has been incorporated into the Super Bowl. And this was not the first year, but it is one of the most dramatic. We are lifting up ourselves and this world moment by moment. So I had this vision that the Broncos get a new stadium, they get the Super Bowl, and Carol gets to sing that song in front of a national audience. What do you think? Can we get behind that? I think we can get behind that. And we want to remember in this philosophy called New Thought, all we got to do is think it. And if we can think it, if we can imagine it, if we can envision anything, something, then the law of the universe takes over and begins to bring that into form, into experience. So today, if you've been following along with the marketing and the advertising and all the blurbs and all the teasers to get you in here this morning, I'm going to build off of something that was shared from this stage a few weeks ago. How many people were here 3 weeks ago? Now, if you have a flower, don't raise your hand. If you were here a few weeks ago, you got to hear a really great friend of mine, truly a brother of mine, Reverend Althea Sekou. And he spoke about the transformations of the cave. And he used the story of Plato's cave to help us look at where we have come from. And at the end of his talk, he challenged you to consider, what are you going to bring from the cave out into the world? What is yours to do? What is yours to do when it comes to racial justice? What is yours to do when it comes to social action? What is yours to do when it comes to just sharing great music? Who have you come here to be? Now, I know that's not necessarily the simplest question. Unless, of course, you're 5. If you ask a 5-year-old, who did you come here to be? They know. I came here to be a fireman. I came here to be a spaceman. I came here to be a doctor or a lawyer or a nurse. They have ideas. They have these visions of who they came here to be. You have that vision too. You have that within you. I know it. Because that is the very nature of who we are as humans. And I want you to know, I love how the universe works. Because the week after Reverend Althea, if you were here, Christina Renee spoke about being authentic. I'll tell you the truth, folks. 9 times out of 10, we lose our vision of who we came here to be when we stop being authentic. When we start being what others tell us we're supposed to be. When we start showing up in ways because somebody else said, well, that'll get you the job, or that'll get you respect, or that'll get you the girl, or that'll get you the guy. We lose our authenticity, and what we fall into, self-defeating patterns. And I love sitting here this morning recognizing that you have taken also another great friend, I said it, Christina, Reverend Christina Jones. We're going to give her the honorary doctorate for the day. And she spoke to you about new patterns. creating new patterns in our lives, not only in our community and not only for ourselves, but for our communities as well, for the organizations we serve, for the organizations that are serving in the greater Denver area. Real quick, how many people have seen me here speak on this stage before this? Cool, most of everybody. Again, those with the flowers, thank you for not raising your hands and giving it away. I know the flower. My wife comes just for she comes, but she loves to get the flowers too. All right. So if you've heard me here before, you know that I have another vision, a vision of a resurgence, if you will, of the New Thought philosophy. 100 years ago, it was hard to get a seat in this room. 100 years ago, this is considered the birthplace of this mighty philosophy called New Thought. And now New Thought as a philosophy has found different organizations and different ways of being. There are several here in the Denver area, across the planet. If you happen upon our website, New Thought Media Network, or ntmedia.org, if you happen upon our website, you'll see a list of sponsors from all kinds of different organizations that all believe and speak and share exactly what we're talking about in this room. How to create the life you truly desire. Who have you come here to be? Now, as Reverend Althea was talking about Martin Luther King's talk, but not his last talk, but the one prior to that, where he spoke and told the story of Rip Van Winkle and how Rip Van Winkle slept through 20 years of change. Folks, if you happen to take a nap in the last 3 years, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up over that one. But I am here today to implore you to not go back to sleep. The events of the last 3 years have given us time to pause. It is mandated that we take time off. It was forced upon us, whether we liked it or not, to stay within, to look within ourselves, and ask these questions. What do you really want? What do you really want in life? From your job, from your marriage, from your family, from your activism, from your part. What do you really want in your life? That's what's happening in the cave. That's what's happened in the cave. But we are beyond the cave now. We have seen the light. Martin Luther King, in that next speech, the one we all remember the most, spoke about having made it to the mountaintop. And he also reminded us that he might not make it there with us. But he did promise we would make it as a people. Now, at that time, he was talking specifically to the African American culture. But I think we've gone beyond that. I think in New Thought, if anywhere in the world, I see a sense of inclusivity more in New Thought churches than anywhere else. Over the past couple of years, I know that Althea has set about on a program, a belief system to embrace our multiculturalism in this city. And to invite people from everywhere into this community. Regardless of race or tradition or past faith beliefs. And someone stands here every week and honors the land upon which we stand. People sit in these rooms and pray. Does this community look different than it did the first time I stepped on this stage? Absolutely. Will it continue to change and evolve? Absolutely. Will more people of various levels of melatonin find their ways into this space? I did it again. I said melatonin. I'm supposed to say melanin. I'm melanin challenged, if you didn't recognize. More people of color finding their way into this magnificent philosophy. Because let's get it right, folks. People come here for the philosophy. They come here to be lifted up. Yes, it's nice when the person sitting next to us is somebody we know. Yes, it's nice when the person in the classroom with us is somebody we know or is part of our tribe, if you will. But this space, this vision that the Althea Center was built on over 100 years ago is much, much larger than any of that. Much larger. So, King promised that we would get to the mountaintop. How many people here who feel they have seen that vision from the mountaintop? Cool. Next time I come around, I want to make sure there's 3 times as many hands that go in the air. Because I have seen a vision from the mountaintop. Now, I feel lucky because that's my job. People trust me to do that. To spend time in the vision, to spend time looking at all the various avenues and aspects of how this world is emerging and how we as humans are evolving. That's where I get to spend my time. So I have seen visions from that mountaintop. And they are glorious. Because we are one. There is no division or separation within the human race when you look from the mountaintop. When we take that 30,000 foot view, I think I just made Everest taller than it really is. When you take that 30,000 foot view, we see no division. We see no separation. I see a world where borders are irrelevant. Where we're learning to come together as one. One life. One supply. One source. One everything. How many people remember the story of the talents from the Bible? I'm not a real big Bible guy. But this fits. In the parables, and I think this was in Matthew somewhere, there's the story of the talents. And a rich landowner is going to go away for a while, and he leaves 3 of his servants with equal amounts of talents. Now, at this time, a talent is a measurement of money, is a measurement of wealth. And if you don't remember the story, the Cliff Notes version is that 2 of those servants went and made more money with those talents. They went out into the world and they took this sacred source and multiplied it and multiplied it and multiplied it. When the landowner came home, he recognized that these 2 servants had made him wealthier. And he honored them, and he gave this is the line, "You have done well, my good and righteous child." The other guy, the 3rd servant, took his talent and buried it in the ground to keep it safe. He was afraid. He was worried. He was concerned that the owner would come home and he would have lost the talent and would be ostracized. So he buried his talent in the ground. And slept. I made that last part up. It's been long enough. We can add to the Bible at this point a little bit, right? That 3rd servant went back to sleep. And when the owner returned, he had nothing to show but that 1 talent that had been buried in the ground. If there's one thing I know for sure in this world, it is that you, each and every one of you, have come onto this planet with a unique set of gifts and skills and talents. Every one of you has come onto this planet with a unique set of gifts and skills and talents that it is your work to multiply into the world. Not hide it. And our traditions, our faith traditions, are littered with reminders of this. How many people know the song, This Little Light of Mine? Don't hide your light under a bushel. Everywhere we look in culture, there are reminders to step forward and be our greatness. How easy do you think it was? I'm sorry, I wasn't prepared for this part of it, so I don't remember the woman's name who sang Lift Every One of Us last week at the Super Bowl. But how easy do you think it was for her to step out on that stage in a blazingly beautiful red dress, by the way, and sing that song for the very first time in front of that audience? This is the first time the NFL has had that song played live, had someone sing it live. They've used it before, but it's always been a recording. This was live. How easy would it have been for her to say, yeah, thanks, no. Don't think that one's for me. I'm going to keep my talent hidden from that audience. That singer has faced an awful lot of backlash, accusations. I don't want to call it backlash because she did nothing wrong. She's faced an awful lot of accusations, and the NFL has as well. And none of that means anything because she multiplied her talent. She stepped into the world and multiplied her talent. Now, maybe your talent is you're just good with numbers. I would not be able to survive and do what I do if I didn't have a partner that was pretty darn good with numbers. Otherwise, the IRS would be coming after me every year. Thank you, dear. What is your unique gift? What are you here to give the world? Here's the fun part. You got to do that from the mountaintop. They don't hear you if you're shouting in the cave. The cave is for us. They don't pay attention to you when you're figuring out who your authentic self really is. They don't listen or follow you when you're building new patterns. But if you tell people you've got a dream and you've seen the top of the mountain, you have seen the view from on high, they'll listen. They'll pay attention. They'll join you in whatever it is that's yours to do. Maybe you're a coach. Start a coaching business. Maybe your heart is in eliminating weapons from the planet. Start a nonprofit. Maybe your dream is to stand right here where I am, in which case, fill out an application and send the board a letter if you want to be the spiritual director. It's open. What talent, what gifts, what skills must you share? Now, remember, this is a mountain climb. Now, we all live in Colorado. We got great views of the mountains. How many people in the room have peeked out on a 14er somewhere in Colorado? Cool. You know what that view from on high is like, right? That's what I promised today in the blurb. That you would have a better perspective of the view from on high of who you are. And later today, following lunch, we're going to do the deep dive thing. And I have something really fun planned for you, and I'm not giving it away right now. I have something really fun planned for you to take that look. And if you're still like, I don't know what my talent is. I don't know what my gifts are. I don't know what I'm here to do. Then please be at the deep dive. I got a great process that you're going to love that'll help you figure that out. See, we come from this vision, these grand visions. I want to remind everybody, I want to let everybody know, in case you forget, there is an actual definition for from on high. From on high. Religiously, faith-based, it means from God or heaven. In the business world, from on high means from an authority or a superior. I like to look at the view from on high as the vision of heaven. Your vision of heaven. And it is mandated from a higher authority that we do what is ours to do to demonstrate that vision, to bring that vision onto the world. So we've got to find the right and perfect partners. We've got to create new patterns of how we show up in the world. We have to be willing to make sure that we are our absolute authentic self, whatever that might be. Don't hide your light. Don't go back to sleep. Be that. And what I guarantee you, and I will put this in writing, and you can call me at home any day you want and challenge me on it. I will put it in writing. I guarantee you that if you show up authentically as who you are, in service to the great vision that you hold for your life, for the world, for the planet, there is nothing, not even you, that can stop that vision from coming into form, from coming into experience. We just got to find the right partners, the right organizations, the right places to hang out, the right businesses to support and serve, the right forms of entertainment that uplift our soul and move us to a place where we say, I cannot do anything but create this new vision. A vision that works for all. A vision of a world that works for all life. Not just my life. All life. It means everyone across this entire planet. But you got to be you, people. You've got to be you. Can you be anyone else? Can anyone else be you? You've got to be who you came here to be. Whole, complete. A great mystic whose name is Thay. Thay made his move to the greater dimensions of livingness last year. Thay was popularly known as Thich Nhat Hanh. And Thich Nhat Hanh shared a quote that I've shared here from this stage before, and I'm going to share it again today. I don't share it every time I'm here because I'm truthfully a little afraid you'd tell me wouldn't invite me back if I do it too often. But what he said is that it's very possible the next Buddha will take the form of a spiritual community. If anybody's had any Buddhist training, you recognize that the concept of Buddha is not limited to just one human being. The concept of the Buddha has traversed lifetimes. The Dalai Lama is on his way. We all know that. And as of yet, the Buddhist traditions have yet to identify or name, and it's a very mystical exploration on how to determine who the next Buddha is, who the next Dalai Lama will be. What if that's true? See, that's the vision I've had. That vision from on high, that vision from the mountaintop is a spiritual community without borders. A spiritual community where borders are irrelevant. A spiritual community where color and tradition and history are irrelevant because new thought is taking all of us to a new place. To a new vision of how we can be together on this planet. After 100 years, The rebirth of new thought is happening in the same place where new thought was born. How cool is that? I think it's amazing. If I could have anything at all, I would want to live in a world of oneness. Now, I believe I do. However, I don't believe everybody's awakened to that truth yet. I believe, unfortunately, there are far too many people across this planet that still believe in the division and the separation, that aren't willing to look at the one. I'm going to ask you to look around the room for just a moment. And if you're here with somebody, don't look at them. Look at somebody else. And I want you to imagine for a moment, what is that person's greatest skill? What is their talent? And you may be right, you may be wrong. Everybody's looking at me again. Let's look around at the room. Find somebody. Lock eyes with somebody. Connect with somebody. And imagine what their great talent might be. If you're comfortable after the talk, before we go to lunch, connect with that person and share. You might be surprised at how well you know your brother or your sister. How well you might know those around us. Because ultimately, folks, we are one. Deeply, we are one. Yes, we bring unique ideas. Yes, we bring different ways of looking at the world. Yes, we say it in different terms. We give different speeches. We use different quotes and parables. And at the end of the day, we are one. One human family. Bringing the divine into form. Because that's how it happens. Anybody here ever had God just sit down at your breakfast table and tell you what the day was going to hold? Like physically have? No. But what happens each and every day is absolutely perfect. The unfolding of your day is divinely ordained each and every day when we agree that all I am here to do is to bring the divine into form. Allow the intuition, allow the inspiration, allow the gifts, allow the talents, allow who you are, who you really are, who you came here to be, to pour forth into human experience. That is how we make the world a better place. That is how we create a world that works for all. A really good friend of mine wrote a song about this. And I'm going to invite you to go home this afternoon and look it up on YouTube. His name is Bob Sima, S-I-M-A. And the next time I get him to come out here to Colorado, I'll make sure you all get an invite to the concert. Bob sang a song based on this whole concept. And his song is, "Don't Die with Your Music in You." That is my wish. That is my call. That is my desire for you. I know she's not going to. But how about the rest of us? How many are willing to let go of this experience with our music still in us? How many are willing to stand up and say, "I shall sing the song of my soul from the rooftops, from the on high. I shall sing the song of my soul from on high." That is my wish for you this week. That you will find that somewhere, perhaps even from the places you would never imagine. But that this week you will find and you will feel free and empowered to sing the song of who you truly came here to be. I love you. You are a blessing on the world. You are a blessing in each other's lives. I am blessed every time I'm invited to be here. I cannot wait to be with you again. Until next time, I wish you peace and richest blessings. I'll offer you the biggest hug possible. I'll be at lunch, so take me up on that hug. And I think we're going to have some more music here to help us round out our service. Thank you for being with us today, folks.